Okay, so moving on with the basic setup for the drone site that we were doing. Now I'm going to be sort of making a post. Mind you, this is a blog. It's an information blog, so we're going to be treating it completely different to if it was like a company website which had a blog section. But because the company site will have certain services or products and about the company that have to be structured separately, and those are pages. Um, I will follow through with another example, which would sort of walk you through setting up a company site and optimizing it from an SEO perspective also. Okay, so for this example, let's suppose we're going to be writing a post and we want to optimize for the keyword best drones 2018, right? So this is the keyword we want to optimize for. But again, just calling the post that just keeps it a little too bland. So I would do something like that. So the keyword does appear right up front. It has for in the middle, but Google sort of understands that and it understands you're optimizing for this particular post since the title is very close to the keyword is that. So best drones for 2018. Uh, my uh, honest review. I could call it something like that because honest review. Uh, I could make this the title, right? And that's how Google would see it in the SERPs. I'm going to save this as a draft for now. And as you can see, the slug is what was it pulls in automatically, right? It takes exactly what you've sort of put as a title and just hyphenates it and puts it down there. So I generally edit and keep the slug slightly shorter than the main title, and I also try and put in my keywords. If I can just keyword optimize it like fully exact match keyword, then I do it that way. So in this case I can, so I'm going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and do best drones 2018. um, so that's one so that's a very handy tip. I'm going to save the draft again. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to plugins and I'm going to add SEO Yoast, because installing SEO Yoast will actually give us a sort of an overview below the post itself on certain ways and how the post is going to look in Google, and how the description will look and things like that. So, and it'll allow us to also configure the description, not just leave the description open for Google to come and catch dynamically, but we can have a preferred description. So let's go ahead and install Yoast, and then we'll come back to this post. Okay, so we're now going to make, we're going to install Yoast plugin, the basic version, not the premium version. So we do that by clicking plugins and then add new, and we search for Yoast, and there it is. We need this version right now, so we don't need anything else at the moment. We don't need, there are other, like there's Yoast local, and then there's glue for Yoast and all sorts of things. So just want the regular Yoast, right? We're not going in for the premium one. So we take the regular Yoast, and by default, sorry, I clicked that link. By default, Yoast will, when you activate it, it'll have some basic default settings, which we can will now be able to see on this page. Right here. And that's our original post. And the general settings will have like the recommended things. It'll tell you if it finds any problems, and as you can see, it's saying huge SEO issue, robots are text. But remember, we actually blocked this voluntarily because we didn't want Googlebot to come and spy to the site until the site was ready, until it had some content and the permalink structures and things like that were done, because otherwise we could sort of land up into thin content penalties and bad historical data, which could cause SEO problems. So So Yoast is installed, and now when I see my post, as you can see, here's the neat little box that Yoast has, and it's pretty cool because it shows you exactly what your title will look like. So here's your actual listing will show up like this in Google search. When it shows up, it'll show up. So it's asking you to provide a meta description, as you can see, and you can see the slug here, which is the same as this. You can see this doesn't look too clean. So what we could do is we could go back to the settings, and we can configure this from Yoast. Okay, so we're gonna leave all this stuff by default. Let's look at search appearance, the search appearance link. Um, and as you can see, I would like to change this hyphen to like a pipe. So let's try and do that in this setting inside Yoast. Okay, so you can see the different options here. So we can choose any of these. Let's suppose we go with pipe, right? And then the homepage one, it by default they're sort of going to tell you what it'll look like. So they're going to put site name and the name of the the name of your site that you configured in the general settings, right here. That's the name of your site. I think we chose Namuna Drones. So right there. So it'll show up as Namuna Drones, and then the name of the home page, what you call it. So if you call it home, it'll show up as home, and then the separator, which is going to be pipe, and then the site description after that. So it'll show the best drone site, right? So that's just for the home page. This is the home page setting. So if you want to put in a description, we can put in a meta description for the home page right here. So let's say we have um, read all about the best drones you can buy in the market. Um, so let's suppose that's your description. We could technically add more. So okay, get the latest scoop, right? Yeah, because you want it to look catchy, right? So people click on it if the home page ranks. This is not for the post we're making again. This is the home page. So let's just save this, and then it's got some premium features. I'm not going to talk about those right now. I'm just addressing the basic stuff. So you got a separator, and if we reload this page, remember we were just doing it for the separator and not the home page, which we'll get to later. You can see right there the separators come in, and then we can give a meta description for this particular page. Um, and to do that, we edit the snippet right here. You click this button and then it pops up, and if you want to do custom page level or post level configurations, that's where Yoast comes really handy. So you can customize it, and if you want to change it to what the standard is, which currently is just the title, so it's going to show the title and then pipe and then the name, right? So if you wanted to add something ABC, you could add it right at the end, or if you felt you wanted to change stuff around, and you can do that. So, and then the slug, again, slug, it takes what it is by default from here, and we can just leave it as it is. I don't think you need to change that. And then the meta description for this particular page. So let's uh, we review all the best drones that have been released in 2018. In this post, get uh, read about DJI, XYZ, ABC, all the different brands, because you want to put that into the cluster, because then Google recognizes the page as having the reviews with all these different drones, brands, blah blah blah. And then maybe you can add, because there's a lot more room here for more text. So We can add more stuff, read about this brand, that brand, and another brand, and another brand, brand 5, and then, and then uh, 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 find out what's happening. Okay, so now it turns red. So it's actually telling you that you've overshot the number of characters that Google assigns for the description space, and that means anything you type in right now in the meta description, and remember this meta description goes into the HTML, right? And if you look at the source code, I'll show you exactly in a bit. So it's telling you, like, that's not going to show up in the snippet, so there's no point putting it there. So what we do is we just delete, and you can see these neat little green bars that increase in size as you keep typing, right? Because it tells you how much is left. So when it reaches the end, that's the end of the space. So that, and then you can put your focus keywords. So you put best drones 2018 was your primary focus keyword, right? And it's got a neat analysis here, and it tells you, like, if the focus keyword is appearing in the paragraph, and where all it should appear, and things like that. And as you can see, it's founded in the description, the title, and the URL slug, and so that's good. So we're doing things well, but this warning is showing up because we've not really added the content as yet, right? So let's save the draft. Let's save a draft right now of the page, and as you can see, so it bolds the focus keyword in the slug, and if your article is cornerstone content, and cornerstone content is basically the most important pages of your site that you actually want to rank for, the focus pages. You may have 5, 10, you may have some, you could have more if you have a larger site, or if you have a company website, and maybe the services page, or the pricing page, or the home page. You check that, you check mark that, and then Yoast will sort of optimize, it'll sort of keep that in check, and then it knows that you have to push maximum links to that particular page. So if you have some sort of automated link building situation with Yoast, then it'll sort of link to that page. We'll get to that later. It's a little bit of an advanced topic. Uh, so right there, and then readability, okay, too little content, yes, okay, that's because you've not put the content. We just put one keyword. We could put more keywords in there, but we're just going to leave it for one right now, and then we could add more keywords, and then you got to upgrade if you want more keywords, if you want yours to track. So I do have a premium version, and I'll add that in and add the advanced videos for configuring the advanced premium version of Yoast. So we've saved that. Okay, so let's just go ahead and save it again, because we did click the cornerstone content link. And now let's add in the content, right? So we just we could hire a VA to to edit our content, or to create it initially, just the text, and then we cut and paste it and place it into the site. So all we're doing is like cutting and pasting. But if we're writing the content, then we write the content as we normally would. In this case, I visited another site, and I'm just going to take in content from there. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. Don't do this. This is just for the example, right? Because I don't want to go through. So I would probably have an opening paragraph before. So I would have an opening para saying, like, stuff like, in this post, I will review the best drones that have been that are in their market since the beginning of 2018, right? So I opened my paragraph like that. You could put this in bold just to make it look good. And images, if I want to put an image initially, I could add a featured image over there, and I could actually insert the image above the title. So it just, or or over here, I could feature the image right above the this initial sentence. So it looks attractive, and then it increases the stickiness of the site. Images are always eye-catching, and it's good to put in an image as upfront in the content as you can, just to make things look really catchy and increase the user experience a little bit, and the stickiness and the dwell times of users. So okay, so this is my sort of title tag right here, and it'll also by default WordPress puts it as the H1, and we'll look at that in the source code again. Let's save this, not publish it, and then I want to put in some H2s, so I can highlight these and put them as H2s. That becomes my H2, and then the next one, best professional drone. So that's okay. So he's subtitled it. He's had subheads and then subheads with that. That's why that was showing up as an H3, which is an interesting way to do it. So he's broken it down into best professional drones and best long flight time drones, and then best long range, which is interesting. So that's a good way to do it, right? So that's this shows good SEO, and you should do stuff like this, and it'll really help you rank if you structure your content this way. And you have your H2s structured, and then your H3s are part of your H2s, and you really structure out the content. That's good. So that's a good take that. So he had the H3s. In this case, we don't have we're not structuring it that way, so we'll skip that. Or maybe wait one sec. Why not we structure it like that? So we have H3s, and this was part of another section. So let's take what he had. He had written. Okay, so there was just one of those. So for our example, let's take this. So he had this one right here, which was the H2, right? So you can see the H2, and then he wrote about the best professional drone. He has an opening paragraph, so we should also have an opening paragraph which talks about professional drones of 2018 in general, right? So that's the opening paragraph. Again, I'm cutting and pasting the content. Please don't do that. Don't use duplicate content. I'm just doing it for the example here, so we move down quickly. And then he had the DJI Phantom Pro 4. Sorry, we're done with this. I'm going to leave this open because we'll come back to this page. Just drag it there. And we have the DJI Phantom 4. And then he has a picture of it. And then he moves on to another drone. That's also interesting. So just a picture of it. And then he's got another drone which he talks about. Right, so then insert image here, insert image, DJI Phantom 4 Pro. So what we could do is we could go to images. I could take it from his site also, but I'm just going to look in Google Images, and that's what I generally do. So you find a drone and then you click it. I could get this from a YouTube snapshot also. I've shown that in my I talk about that in the slides. So this is the image, so I'm going to save this one right here. Okay, so right click, save as. I save it and name it as DJI Phantom Pro. It's good to use the keywords in there, and if I wanted, I could also like come in here and here, and we look at, that's another way to get to original images. We just scroll and see any points.
Camera.
You can quickly scroll and see parts which show you.
Second recording gives you stunning, detailed, slow motion aerial video. The Phantom 4 Pro is as adept at stills as it is with video, capturing every detail at 20 megapixels.
But I think that's like still image anyway. But
The
you get the
34
picture.
Pro camera has an f2.8 aperture.
Okay, right, that's this one. So I can hit pause right. Oh, oops. This that, yeah. So I hit pause right there, and that's my image, right? And if I wanted a high quality one, then I go full screen, or I simply sort of increase the quality of the video, and then I get a really high res image. I maximize my screen. I take a screenshot of it, and then I paste it into, you know, right there, and I save it locally, and then I upload it. I don't need to modify this because this is an original image. Google has probably not seen this image because it's from a video. So that's one trick of to get quick original images fast and high quality. Yeah, so I can use something like Lightshot. It's nice. You hit print screen, it runs as an app in the background, and every time you hit print screen, it opens up. It freezes the image, and then it opens up the cursor, and then you can select the screen like I just did, like right here, and then you can choose what you want to do. You want to save it, you want to copy, upload it, remotely to some other URL. It's a nifty tool. I suggest you get it. It's free. It's called Lightshot, and it's nice. So in this case, I'm just going to hit save and save it locally. I had a copy already, so I'm just going to overwrite that, and that's it. And we're ready to go. And then we can insert the image here by clicking Add Media. Okay, so let's do that right now. So it goes to Add Media, and we want to select the file from locally, and you select right there, and there you have your original image. Make sure you choose full size if you want the full size, and insert it into the post. There we go, a neat little image that's original. And then we need to edit this. So we need to edit its uh, basically things like the alt tags, right? So we call this best, no, this is the DJI Phantom Pro. This is the alt tag, the image alt tag. And if you want to add a caption, which I suggest, so you highly do if you're running an info blog especially, and if you're optimizing, it helps. So you can insert any other late LSI keywords. So let's go into Google and search for the LSI keywords that Google suggests. And if you remember, I told you, like, you got to scroll down to the footer, and these are the LSI keywords. And as you can see, keywords everywhere tool runs and tells me the number of searches each of these have. So let's take a complex one like this one, and so you can see, and I would choose in this case, let's take something that's searched right there, this one. So DJI 4 Pro Plus would be my choice because it's searched pretty, it's, oops, DJI Phantom 4 Pro Plus. We go back into our caption and we put DJI Phantom Pro Plus in flight. Want to make it a little catchy, full size, and advanced options. The image title attribute, if you want anything to do with that. I think we can just skip that. You don't want to put a title in there. You could I've not really found it. It doesn't sort of help, but I found caption really helps. But the title doesn't really help. So there you can see your caption is right there, and that does help in SEO nowadays. So that's one little neat little trick I'm going to tell you. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to now. You remember the other image you took of the drone? There's different ways to get original images. What you could do is you could just simply fire up Photoshop, take the drone image, flip it left, right, or you could image collage tool, web free. There's some nifty little tools which allow you to upload maybe 5 or 6 images, and then they stitch it all together into one collage, make tiles out of it, different size squares, different kinds of photo collages. So just do that because because that will keep your images unique. And like I said, Google is looking at the uniqueness of your images. So Google wants to see unique images. They don't want you to just go to the DJI Phantom site and take the latest image that they have of the drone and just use that, because everybody does that, right? So that unique images count towards unique content. Google doesn't want you to just grab this image, and flipping it left right may not work in all cases, because others will also be doing it. So you just need to edit it, a little bit, fire up Photoshop or go to the sites where you can do that. Okay, so coming back to our post right here, so we've got this, this is just an example, and you've done this, and so you're going to be building links to this page. So this is the ultimate money page. So when I add other posts, I will link to this page, right? And I'll show you how to structure that internally. So we are ready. With that said, we're sort of ready with our page. Although the content is less, you just add more content. I'm just giving you an example, and I'm not going to run through everything because I want to save time over here. And if you want to add tags over here for your tag cloud, I don't really recommend it anymore. It's not really required from an SEO perspective. However, the category, right? So you want to be structuring your content properly. So if this falls under reviews, and you're planning to have a review section, and then you're planning to have a buy now section, or just different sections in your site. Like you could have different. You could have a tips and tricks section like he's got, and then tutorials and pics and vids, and these are just different categories. And then a news section which talks about all the latest happenings in the drone industry and things like that. So if you're going to be splitting out like he's done right there, right? So that's what you need to do. Really section it out, make these categories, and so for now, we're going to put it in that category, and we will now hit the publish button, and it's automatically made the category here. And if you want to add the categories one by one, you can just visit this link right here. So and then we can add our categories. So we already had reviews, and then the slug for each category also appears. So let's suppose we wanted tips and tricks, and then slug would come by default. Sorry, the slug would be like that, and tips and tricks could be our name. It's important to get the slug right because Google really looks at that. So that's important when you have more than. I'm going to try and edit this one because I probably want to put R in capital, so I can go back and edit that right there, and update that, and then I can edit that category, and then I can add more categories. Go back to categories. I could have clicked that as well, and we want news and tutorials. So let's look at news, and then here comes news right here. Add new tutorial. Okay, so here you can see our categories being formed, and then we wanted what else did you want? Tutorials, right? Let's just make one more. And then by default, tutorials right there. And you can choose if you want, you want to have subcategories within the main categories. In this case, we're not going to do any of that. But that's if you want to do that, you can. If you do have multiple categories within, that usually happens in larger sites with a lot of data. Like you want to really faction it a lot more. So these are your categories, and then you'll notice when you go back to your post or when you're making a new post, it'll show up as the choices on in this area right here. So I've hit the reload button, and then you can see it. Appears here all your categories, and one post can be part of multiple categories, but try and restrict it and keep it to one category only. Although it could appear in multiple, right? And then we're going to use uh, the robots.txt file. We're going to exclude categories from being spidered, so these different pages don't show up as duplicate content. And same goes with tags. And then let's set a featured image over here for now. And the featured image would let's suppose we've modified this and done our original left right spinning or photo collage to this image, and we set that as a featured image, so it shows up here. And then it depends on the theme, right? The featured image, you'll see it just pop up right here in a second. uh, but what basically happens is, right here, see, so the featured image appears where the theme, where the particular, where the theme that you're using tells it to appear. So if it tells it to appear in a particular way in the post feeds, then it appears in that manner. So you don't really have any control how this appears, except you got to push its appearance in based on the theme configuration. So you can go and set the look at the theme configuration and decide how that sort of plays out or displays. Uh, so like I said, so if your theme doesn't push uh, the feature image on top, it may as well. So let's just test it. We can hit the preview button right here, and we can look at it before we even publish it. Or in this case, we did publish it. So anyway, so yeah, so as you can see, the feature image. This is the feature image right here. It appears right on top, right? And then we have a post with the title, the date, posted by which user, and then we have our H1 tag appearing right here, and then the opening para, which I put in bold, the opening sentence, sorry. You can and cannot put it in bold. I just do that to just make it look good. And again, this is the default theme of WordPress, so we could use some of the other fancy themes and do it up a little bit. And then we have this one coming right here, which is our H2 tag, paragraph, and then our H3 tags right here. Okay. So let's look at the source code of the page, and look for title. So as you can see, best drones for 2000. That was the title we gave it, and then pipe, and then our site name, exactly how Yoast configured it. And let's look at our description. Yeah, I just want to show you, like, yeah, so right there, we review all the best drones. You remember this? We added that in the Yoast right here, the custom description that we gave it right here. That's there in the source code. I'm just showing that to you. So and here you can see our slug. Our URL is right there. That's URL we chose. Right there. It appears right there. Right. So that's that. And then let's look at the H1s. H1 right there. So here we go. Best drones for 2018. My honest review. I told you the title gets pulled as the H1s also. So the title tag of the page gets pulled in as the H1 by default. So if you want to customize that, and we want to use a different H1 than the title, which I suggest you do, because you have that leeway, right, to switch things around. Because then you'll be using LSI keywords, and you'll rank a lot more for you cast a wider net. So let's go back into Google and look for some LSI keywords for best drones review for 2018. So we have one for beginners for cameras, upcoming drones 2018. Okay. And then I get the neat little data from Keywords Everywhere, which tells me exactly what to use. So I want to use something, again, it's got to be readable and it's got to be relevant, right? So at the same time, so if I change it around, and my title is something else, and then my H1 turns out to be something else, it may not sort of read well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch things around over here. I'm going to keep my title just that much, right? Okay, and I'm going to, in my the H1, I'm going to make the H1 different. So let's just save this here, update this. This opening paragraph became an H3. I want to make it a paragraph uh, unit. So I just modified that. So there's ways to hide the title from being the appearing as the H1 tag also, and you can use that plugin, and then you can actually modify. You can have your own custom H1 heading for that particular, for a single post page. I'll address. I'll install this plugin because it's an advanced sort of method. You may need to go in and customize some PHP code to do that. We'll look at this later on. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and update the post with the H1 Forsten into the content using that tag, and then the title appearing is like that. Um, for now, it'll appear twice, but we can just suppress it, right? We can just hide this from showing up there and then having the second title, right? So that'll be our main title, and then that'll be our H1 tag right there, and then that'll be the H2, and then you'll have the H3s over here. So yeah, so that's for the that's the content, and that's the default theme. So you can quickly switch themes around. Uh, I could just look for some free theme in the market. You click the add new button. If you want to look at some of the tech themes out there, um, there's a bunch of them. There's a ton of themes keep coming out every week. It's crazy to keep track of things, but there's some good ones out there for news and things like that, and themes that emulate other sites and other blogs and what have you. Uh, So for example, if you wanted this one, we just, there's Deck Mag again here. Okay, that looks interesting. Let's install that one. And we activate it. And I mean, they're all good. They're all fantastic. There's some neat ones on Code Canyon as well. So sorry, Theme Forest. Uh, Code Canyon will have the plugins and code, but Theme Forest has some really neat ones. But that said, there's a ton of free stuff out there. And then you can customize the theme, right? Because each theme can be customized. You go to its own options menu for the theme, and then you go there and you customize it. You can change the colors around, change the widget, theme-specific functions. And okay, so let's look at our post with the new theme. There we go. So that's a new theme. So just an example, right? And then you have the recent posts on the side, recent comments and archives, and you want to actually customize this entire panel as well. You want to have your recent post showing up here. You may want to have the related categories only showing up. Um, you may want to remove all this messy stuff. You do that by going into the widgets. It should be done. I mean, it's an important aspect of cleaning up. Just go to sidebar, and if you don't want to show the recent comments, take all that out. Just delete it out. You may want to show your categories. Don't want to show the meta tags, recent post. Yeah, you want to show the search box. Yeah, and then we'll probably show up right there. And just want to update our post. And there you go, the search box, and then this stuff right here, right? And then about the author, you want to change the author bio box, and you can add, you can add that content there. And if you're getting guest posts on your site, then you can let them drop their link right here. And then the comments this is the basic comments. You could of course add Discuss or any other third-party commenting tools. You want to install like the basic plugins, like there's Google Analytics. You want to hook it up with Analytics. You want to have Search Console hooked up. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritties of this stuff, but it's pretty simple. You can. I'll probably come up with a separate course which talks about just optimizing WordPress for SEO, because it's a vast topic. So I installed Analytics, and then I want to hook it up to my main Analytics account, and then I can authorize a plugin by clicking that, and it'll pop open. It'll ask me for an access code. I'll have to log in, click this button, it'll give me a pop-up. I can grab the access code, and then I can configure Search Console as well. You get your authentication code, and I'm not going to expose that right now. And then you put the code in here, and you can authenticate your site with Search Console. So that's pretty simple. And then Yoast also allows you to insert your social accounts, your various social profiles. So it sort of creates those links and optimizes your site for that. And then it's got the premium version. Search appearance, we already did that. Let's see what, yeah, we did this. So the home page is going to have this. So when you make a home page, let's suppose the home page could be a blog post feed as well, right? In this case, you don't want to have specific page made. Usually when you have company websites, then you can have a homepage made which is static, but if you have a blog, then you need the blog feed appearing on the homepage. So that's a title it'll give the homepage right there. That's the Yoast title. So if I was to visit my homepage, I would see so that's the first post right there, and then that's the second post. Things like that. Just the feed. And the actual title would be right there, the best drone site. So, and that's defined in right here in Yoast settings. So, and the description would come there. Let's put the description right there. Read all about the best drones and get the scoop right here, right? And we didn't have any page set for the home, so it doesn't really put this in there, which is why it was just like site name and then the separator, which is the pipe, and then the site description. So that's what it was showing right here. So if we were to put a static page as a home page, then it would insert that name of that page initially up front over here. It's a nitty-gritty feature, but it's important that you sort of understand why it did that. So, and then the meta description, right? So those are the basic features of Yoast and the basic configurations, and the others are like things like so you can check each of these content, each of these tabs, and you can configure them. You want to show the posts in the search results. Yes, no, leave it as, generally leave most of these on, the default things. You want to show the date in the snippet preview, not really required. The Yoast meta box, yes, of course, when you're making your posts. Pages, show pages in the search results, of course. So that's just the basic. Most of these are to be left default. Again, leave this as yes. Taxonomies, if you have any like tags and things, taxonomies, in this case we don't, so we don't really need to address any of these. If you're, for now, for just doing basic work, I think just leave everything as it is, like by default, except you may want to, for your robots.txt, you may want to not show it, and may not want to show certain things like tags, so that would be configured separately. So author archives, okay, no, okay. And then the breadcrumbs, right? That's like breadcrumbs are these uh, the way a directory gets shown, like your page, your each page, like how what's the directory structure, what is the structure to get to that page. In this case, we're just going to leave it disabled, and that would depend on like site to site. Sometimes you want to show it in a company site, and sometimes you don't want to show it. And then the RSS feeds, you want to have an RSS feed and leave that default. So that's so Yoast, mostly leave it as it is in the default settings, and I'll get to an advanced video where we configure Yoast and some other neat advanced features within the WordPress dashboard. And I will see you in the next video then.